March 2021. A man is sitting in an office in Harare, Zimbabwe. He has just been appointed as the country's ambassador at large for Europe and the Americas. He is officially tasked with attracting foreign investors to Zimbabwe. He wears tailored suits. He owns private jets. He preaches to congregations of thousands. His name is Hubert Angel, and in 2 years, he will be caught on hidden camera, offering to launder $1,200,000,000. He wasn't nervous. He wasn't cautious. He smiled and said with absolute confidence, "You want gold? Gold we can do right now." This is not fiction. This is not a movie. This happened. It was recorded. This is the story of the Gold Mafia. To understand the Gold Mafia, you have to understand Zimbabwe. And to understand Zimbabwe, you need one number: 231 million%. That's not a typo. That was Zimbabwe's inflation rate in 2008. People were carrying money in wheelbarrows, not because they were rich, because a loaf of bread cost 100 billion Zimbabwean dollars. The country's currency had collapsed so completely that the government printed a $100 trillion bill. It is now sold as a souvenir. By 2009, Zimbabwe abandoned its own currency entirely. They started using US dollars instead. But here's the problem. Zimbabwe is under heavy Western sanctions. The United States, the European Union, the United Kingdom, all have imposed financial restrictions since 2002. International banks don't want the exposure. Refineries don't want the scrutiny. The world's financial system is officially closed to Zimbabwe. But Zimbabwe has gold. Lots of it. Gold accounts for nearly half of the country's total exports. Over $2 billion a year. But sanctions make it impossible to sell that gold through official channels. So Zimbabwe faces a fundamental question. You have billions of dollars worth of gold in the ground. You desperately need hard currency. The world's financial system is closed to you. What do? You find people who don't care about the rules. You find people who are very, very good at making things disappear. You find the Gold Mafia. At the bottom of this chain are the small-scale miners, in the rivers of Zimbabwe, panning by hand. They have no idea what their gold will become. They're just trying to eat. Every gram that leaves Zimbabwe illegally is a gram that never reaches a hospital, a school, a road. The trap is economic. The solution was criminal. And the criminals already had a plan. To understand the Gold Mafia, you have to understand Zimbabwe. And to understand Zimbabwe, you need one number: 231 million%. That's not a typo. That was Zimbabwe's inflation rate in 2008. People were carrying money in wheelbarrows, not because they were rich, because a loaf of bread cost 100 billion Zimbabwean dollars. The country's currency had collapsed so completely that the government printed a $100 trillion bill. It is now sold as a souvenir. By 2009, Zimbabwe abandoned its own currency entirely. They started using US dollars instead. But here's the problem. Zimbabwe is under heavy Western sanctions. The United States, the European Union, the United Kingdom, all have imposed financial restrictions since 2002. International banks don't want the exposure. Refineries don't want the scrutiny. The world's financial system is officially closed to Zimbabwe. But Zimbabwe has gold. Lots of it. Gold accounts for nearly half of the country's total exports. Over $2 billion a year. But sanctions make it impossible to sell that gold through official channels. So Zimbabwe faces a fundamental question. You have billions of dollars worth of gold in the ground. You desperately need hard currency. The world's financial system is closed to you. What do? You find people who don't care about the rules. You find people who are very, very good at making things disappear. You find the Gold Mafia. At the bottom of this chain are the small-scale miners, in the rivers of Zimbabwe, panning by hand. They have no idea what their gold will become. They are just trying to eat.
But if we cross-reference
Every gram that leaves Zimbabwe illegally is a gram that never reaches a hospital, a school, a road. The trap is economic. The solution was criminal. And the criminals already had a plan.
The Al Jazeera investigative unit spent months building an undercover operation. Their team posed as criminals from China looking to launder over $100 million. They set up meetings. They wore hidden cameras. And what they got on tape was extraordinary. Let me introduce you to the key players. First, Ewan McMillan. He goes by Mr. Gold. He was first arrested for gold smuggling when he was 21 years old. He has a network of couriers who carry hundreds of kilos of gold per week. Not in armored vehicles, not through official channels, in suitcases, in carry-on luggage, on commercial flights from Harare to Dubai. When Al Jazeera's reporters met him, he was relaxed. He was proud. He leaned forward and said, "There is an opportunity, a hell of a big opportunity, to wash money here." Second, Kamlesh Patni, Kenyan-born. In the 1990s, his company Goldenberg International was at the center of a scandal that robbed Kenya of $600 million, roughly 10% of the entire country's GDP. He was charged. He was never convicted. He showed up to the meeting carrying a photograph of himself shaking hands with a former African head of state. He was not hiding who he was. He was bragging. Third, Simon Rudland, one of Zimbabwe's richest men. His tobacco company is one of the largest cigarette manufacturers in southern Africa. Tax-free, off the books, invisible, and the man who connects all of this to the very top, known only as Mo Dollars. Mo Dollars launders money from illegal cigarettes, through gold, through Zimbabwe's central bank. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, a government institution, the investigators called it what it had become, Southern Africa's biggest laundromat. Four men, McMillan, the smuggler, Patni, the veteran, Rudland, the bankroller, Angel, the prophet, all of them connected, all of them protected, all of them operating through the same system, and at the center of that system, a government. Let me show you exactly how it worked.
The system initializes.
Here's how it actually works. Pay attention, because this is the most elegant criminal system you will ever hear about. Step 1. A criminal somewhere in the world has dirty money. Maybe a drug lord in Eastern Europe. Maybe a corrupt politician in Nigeria. The cash is real, but it cannot move through normal banking. It's traceable. It's flagged. It's dangerous. Step 2. The dirty cash arrives in Zimbabwe, not through a bank wire, through Hubert Angel's diplomatic plane. Because Angel is an official ambassador of Zimbabwe. His plane doesn't go through customs. It doesn't get searched. It lands, and the bags come off, and nobody checks. He told the reporters exactly this. It will land in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe can't touch it, so there can be a diplomatic plan. Step 3. The cash is handed to Fidelity printers and refiners. This is not a private criminal operation. This is Zimbabwe's state-owned gold refinery. It is run by the Reserve Bank. With that dirty cash, the Gold Mafia buys gold from small-scale miners. Miners who have no idea where the money came from. Step 4. The gold is loaded into suitcases, into hand luggage, into specially designed hidden compartments. McMillan's network moves hundreds of kilos per week, every month. The couriers fly commercial. They fly from Harare. They land in Dubai. Dubai has one of the most active gold trading markets on Earth, and at the time, almost completely unregulated. Step 5. When the gold arrives in Dubai, it enters a refinery. The refinery melts it down. They mix it with other gold. They cast it into new bars. They stamp it with a Dubai hallmark. And at that moment, the gold loses its history. It has no origin anymore. It is just gold. Clean, sellable, international. The money returns to the criminal. Clean, untraceable, legal, minus the Gold Mafia's commission. Alistair Matthias, the operational brain behind McMillan, told the reporters he moves between $70 and $80 million worth of gold every single month. Not per year, per month. He said it clearly. I can move as much as I want, wherever I want. See, the best thing with gold, it is cash. Gold is the perfect criminal instrument. No serial numbers, no digital footprint. When you melt it, it erases everything. The entire process takes less than 2 weeks. Now let me tell you about Hubert Angel in more detail, because he is the most extraordinary character in this story. He was born Hubert Madzanir in Zimbabwe in 1979. At some point in his adult life, he declared himself a prophet, not a preacher, not a pastor in the traditional sense, a prophet. He claims to receive direct messages from God. He claims to predict the future. He claims to perform miraculous healings. His church, the Good News Church, has branches in 15 countries. His followers are in the millions. He lives in a mansion in England. He owns private jets. In March 2021, President Mnangagwa appointed him as Zimbabwe's ambassador at large. Every Sunday, thousands of people come to hear him preach. They believe in him. They trust him. He is a prophet. He preaches prosperity. God wants you to be wealthy, he says. God wants you to succeed. And he is living proof. They don't know. The people in those pews, they have no idea who they are listening to. On Sunday, a prophet. On Monday, a money launderer. When Al Jazeera's reporters told him they had $1.2 billion of dirty cash that needed cleaning, he did not hesitate. He made a phone call, right there in the meeting, on speakerphone, on the table, in front of the hidden cameras. He has done this before. And when the reporters asked whether President Mnangagwa knew, Angel smiled. Everything that we are doing here has the blessings of number one. Number one, the president. Later, his associate Ricky Doolin, also a pastor in Angel's church, offered to arrange a face-to-face meeting with the president himself. For $200,000, he called it appreciation. When all 4 episodes aired, Zimbabwe's government issued a statement. Government takes the allegations seriously. Any person found to have engaged in corruption will face the full wrath of the law. That statement was issued by the same government that Angel claimed had given everything its blessing. As of this recording, no one in the Gold Mafia has been convicted of any crime. Hubert Angel lost his ambassador position. Then he was quietly reappointed to a different diplomatic role, different title, same access. And every Sunday, he is still preaching. Let's talk about scale. $1.5 billion. That is the estimated value of gold that leaves Zimbabwe illegally every single year. Not total gold production. Illegal gold. Gold that disappears. Gold whose proceeds never reach the Zimbabwean government. And it's not just Zimbabwe. Alastair Mathias told the reporters he can export gold from Ghana, South Africa, Zambia, using the same network. Several African heads of state, he said, were his clients. He didn't name them. He didn't need to. Think about what that means. The people responsible for stopping this crime are the people paying for this crime. This is not an exception. This is how the system works. The gold flows into Dubai. From Dubai, it moves to Switzerland, the world's largest gold refining country. 70% of all the world's gold passes through Swiss refineries, and then London, New York, Tokyo. The gold is everywhere now, in every market, in every bank, in every jewelry store. When you buy a piece of gold jewelry, a ring, a necklace, a watch, you don't know where that gold came from. You can't know. Because it was melted, because it was mixed, because somewhere along its journey, it passed through a refinery, and at that moment, it stopped having a past. March 23, 2023, the documentary airs, 4 episodes, the world watches. The response was immediate. Outrage on social media, calls for prosecution, pressure on governments. The world was watching. Zimbabwe's government issued a statement. Government takes the allegations seriously. Any person found to have engaged in acts of corruption will face the full wrath of the law. That statement was issued by the same government that Angel claimed had given everything its blessing. Ewan McMillan released a public statement. He said he had been drunk during the filming. Boastful, untrue, and derogatory. He did not explain why a man who was supposedly drunk was able to describe the precise operational mechanics of a multi-billion-dollar smuggling operation in clear, coherent detail. Angel was removed from his ambassador position, then quietly reappointed to a different diplomatic role, different title, same access, no charges, no trial, nothing. Alastair Mathias continues operating. Simon Rudland continues his business. Kamlesh Patni is still connected. The flights continue. Harare to Dubai. Every week. The gold still melts. The past still disappears. The money still cleans. The system holds. The Gold Mafia did not collapse. It adapted. Here is what I want you to take from this story. Not the names, not the countries, not the scale, the architecture. Every system you trust has a layer beneath it that you can't see. A bank, a government, a commodity market, a diplomatic service. All of them. All of them. At every point in that chain, there are people like Ewan Macmillan, not sinister strangers. People who understand the system better than anyone. People who found the gaps. The genius of gold as a criminal instrument is that it has one property nothing else has. When you melt it, it forgets. No serial number survives the furnace. No fingerprint survives the refinery. No crime survives the stamp of a Dubai hallmark. And that's the lesson.